The Final Chapter by Hákon Gunnarsson. I finish rolling the joint. It seems to be the only thing that makes the pain go away these days, and I put it in my mouth. My fingers search, slightly trembling, for the lighter in my pocket, but I can't find it. Frustrated, I pick my green typewriter up and look underneath, then at the balcony floor. It's not there. I slam the typewriter down on the table again. Damn! I sigh and put the joint back in my shirt pocket as I hear the drone fly by. It's a big one, probably delivering something to a house close by. For a moment I sit and look at the tree branch that almost touches the railing. There's a bird in the tree. I'm not sure what kind, but its song is pleasant, which is an interesting contrast to the sky that's so grey and foreboding. When I had a look earlier at the computer, it said a storm was approaching, and it was going to be a bad one. It's not here yet, and I write better outside. Well, I did at one time anyway. I rub my fingers slowly without looking at them. Seriously, I really need to go inside to look for a fire, to calm my body, but I just don't feel like getting up. The house is full of people that I don't really want to talk to right now. No more fucking sympathy. Thanks. That's what I want to say to them. I don't, of course, but I've kind of had it with the worried looks. I hear two of them talking inside the house about something that doesn't interest me. Can't they just ever shut up? I want peace and quiet. For a moment I glance towards the half-open door. The brown paint on it is starting to peel as the whole house is slowly decaying, just like me. I should give up on it, but it's the house my parents built in their 30s, and the house I grew up in. They're both gone, so maybe the real reason why I can't give up on this house is the fact that it is the last link to my parents. Or perhaps it's simply laziness. Having to move all my books somewhere else would take some major effort. Fixing it up would probably take an even bigger effort. But that's another story, and one I'm not going to write. I take a look at the paper in my typewriter. 2 lines, one long, the other shorter. That's all. The result of 3 hours of work this morning. 2 lines that I will have to cross out because they're no good. I'm never going to finish this final chapter, am I? Not that it matters. After 42 years of writing, I've reached the point in my career when no one reads me anymore, and I have no more time to change that. Hi, Carl. I look up and smile at the familiar face. What are you doing here, Linda? Can't I come and visit my favourite writer? I smile and look at the paper again. You know, I'm always happy to see you. You don't need a reason to come and visit me. Well then, what do you think of this? She bends over and reads, then glances quickly at me before sitting down in the chair next to mine, and I see it in her face. Okay, I know, it's shit. I scratch my beard, pull the sheet out from under the typewriter with a swift movement, and cross the lines out with a pen, then turn the paper around and put it back in. No, it's just, you're right, it's not among your best. I just can't find that final chapter, that ending. It's just somewhere in outer space, I guess, along with the rest of my brain. Well, I know there's very little point in writing it now, but I've done this my whole life, and I want to finish my career with something that I can end it with something that works at least, you know? You don't have a light, do you? No. Of course you don't. You don't smoke, do you? You're too young. You're not an old and grey shit like me, waiting to dive one last time into the earth. She doesn't reply. I stare at the blank page for a moment. It's the scariest thing that a writer can face, a blank, unfillable fucking page, especially when the mind is as blank as the pages. I know this story. It's resided in my brain for 3 years, and the characters have breathed in there. They've argued, they've made love, they've blundered things, had their victories and their sorrows. Basically lived in there 24/7 for years, but the ending is still a fog. I give up and look at her. This is driving me up the wall. I know the story, but I stop mid-sentence. What's wrong, Linda? Have you seen my dad lately? Not really, no. I haven't been able to finish this thing here, so I haven't had any reason to go and see him. Why? I don't know. He turns quiet and looks away. I haven't seen him for a week. I got a text 5 days ago saying that he was going to visit Stiena and would be back the same night. Since then, nothing. You've gone to the police? A deep inhale, then. Yes, but they weren't exactly helpful. Well, I suppose they're still dealing with the fallout of the riot. I guess, but they weren't interested at all. I mean, they took down the information, the name, what he does for a living, when I'd last seen him last, and all that. But I gathered missing persons don't really make their radar at all. You've been to Stiena? Yeah, but she hasn't seen him for a month and not heard of him in at least 2 weeks. Strange, he's always been so reliable. Linda looks older than she did last time I saw her. Probably hasn't been sleeping. I wish I could help her, I really do. Yes, he has. You know, I just thought if anybody would know where he was, it would be you. Sorry. She sits for a while longer, bites her lip for a moment. I have to go. You came on the bus? Yeah. I'll walk you there. I stand, pick up my typewriter. Momentarily the pain stops me in my tracks, and I close my eyes, but then walk to the door, and Linda follows after she's picked up the stack of paper that was on the table. I put the typewriter down, with a thud, on the chair next to the door, and Linda puts the paper down on top of the typewriter, and we walk through the living room. 2 people are working on something with computers at the table. Have either of you seen my lighter? Ahmed looks up, then down on the table and picks something up. Yeah, you left it here when you went out. He throws it to me, and I catch. Thanks, mate. Linda and I continue to the front door. I feel like I shouldn't leave the house. Not now, maybe never. But I have to. I've known Linda since before she was born, and it pains me that I can't help her. But at least I can walk with her to the bus stop. We walk in silence out of the driveway, turn and head towards the sea where the bus stop is. When we get there, I sit down on the bench and look at the water. The sea wall, that ugly eyesore, is still working. For how many years that's going to last, I don't know, but I think I won't be here when it fails. I haven't got that much time left. For a while, the government thought it could build a strong enough seawall to protect the houses here, and they tried, they really did. But of course it was a mistake, a delusion, and now we are here. The houses are worthless, some already abandoned, others, like mine, full of people that haven't got the money to choose where they stay, and people like me that know they haven't got long enough left to start over somewhere else. I put the joint in my mouth and light up. Finally, a little calm for my bones. I close my eyes and feel my breath coming in through my nose, going out through my nose, coming in, going out, coming in, going out. Linda lets me be for a while, just sits there next to me. Let me know if you hear anything, Linda. Sure, you know, old man, it would be easier if you came back into the present from wherever you've been these last few decades. I'm too old, Linda, and besides, I don't like the present very much. Neither do I, but I still use the technology it has to offer. You'll find your dad, Linda. No worries, you'll find him. He's out there somewhere, and you'll find him. I close my eyes again, point the joint in my mouth, and inhale. Then I sit there with my eyes closed and slip into a semi-meditation again. Anything that works, right? Time ticks by. Then she touches my left shoulder. Carl, the bus is coming. I put out the joint and store what remains of my calm in my shirt pocket. I'll see you, Linda. She says her goodbye and gets on the bus. I stand there like a rotting tree and watch the bus go away. I feel the wind is picking up a little bit. The bus turns the corner and I look towards the sea. I've never liked that sea wall. It looks wrong. It wasn't like this in my youth. I remember playing by the seaside on the grey beach, the shells, the seaweed, the birds. It's all changed. Now all I see is an unfinished seawall that destroys the sea view and didn't even manage to save the property value. Slowly I walk towards the house. I stop at the fence. The street up to my house is almost level, but still it feels too steep for me. I stand there for a little while. Don't think about it. Think about something else. That final chapter. I still need the ending, even if my publisher and friend has gone walkabout, and I need it sooner than later. I'm not going to finish it through some psychic medium, am I? While I look around at the houses, I go through the story up until where I'd got to. It's a pretty good novel, if I say so myself, but it does need some closure. Oh, that bloody pain. I fish the joint out of my pocket and light up again. I start walking, and eventually I get home. The wind has picked up a little more since I left the bus stop. When I get inside, I meet Ahmed and the others. Most of them have backpacks or suitcases. We have to go. Why? It was on the news. It's going to be bad here tonight. We just pack the essentials and then we're off to the crisis center. You need to pack your stuff and come with us. No, I don't. What do you mean? Everyone's leaving. It's going to be hit here. It's going to hit here tonight. Yeah, I know it's going to. I'm not leaving. I'm not ending up at the crisis center. That's not my ending. Not what I had in mind. This is my house, and you can go if you want to. But I'm staying right here, and that's the end of it. Okay, if you're going to be stupid about it, then stay. I'm not stupid, Ahmed. I'm just not going to run off every time something happens around here. I'm tired, I'm really tired. Okay, suit yourself. If you change your mind, there's one bus after. The one that's coming in a couple of minutes. Yeah, sure, thanks. They leave one by one. I stand there watching them go, see them walk out of the driveway, then I turn and go in. I go into the kitchen to make myself something to eat, but I can't find anything that I feel like having. Nothing looks too tasty. If there's one thing I miss, it's my appetite. Eventually I take a beer out of the fridge and go into the living room. I find my typewriter and take it to the table. I put it down gently, then sit on the chair and start to type. I manage one sentence before I stop to look at what I've just written. Now, where is this going? I look at the sentence for a little while, then add another, and the third one. I nearly manage to get into the rhythm of writing, but I stop after almost half a page, the longest that I've written in some time. I read it, put a hand over my face, and rip the paper out of the machine. I crumple it up and flow it to the floor. I insert a new sheet of paper into the typewriter, put my hands on the keyboard, but can't for the life of me figure out what is going to put an end to this chapter. I can't even find the beginning of the end. For a moment it crosses my mind that perhaps I don't want to finish this damn thing because it's going to be the last thing I ever write. I think about this and shrug it off. No, I'm really not that deep. No, this is an old-fashioned writer's block. The thing I thought didn't exist on top of a list of all the other problems. Now I've got to deal with it. I lay back on the sofa, drinking my beer, listening to the wind pick up and become a storm. The good thing is, there's one house between this house and the open ocean, so it never becomes quite as bad here. Nearly, but not quite. I put the beer on the table and fish out a joint. Don't even ask me how many I've had today. Probably far too many, but still not enough to really send the plane flying off into outer space for good. I sit there in a daze of something like that. Then all of a sudden I remember reading a while back that smoking this shit can add to one's risk of dementia. Lucky me, that won't be a problem. I put the rest of the joint out in the ashtray and snuggle up on the sofa. I'm just going to close my eyes for a moment. I'm tired. I'm really tired. A couple of hours later I wake up when something hits the house. For a moment I'm out of it, trying to focus, trying to find out where I am, trying to figure out what woke me up. I push the hair out of my eyes, but that doesn't make much difference. It still takes me a couple of moments more to realize where I am. Then I stand up and walk to the window. The storm is raging like an angry preacher at the sight of a heretic. I look down and I see it. The sea, it's in my house. Some of it's probably got in on the ground floor. For a moment my foggy mind gets scared and my books may have been damaged, but then I remember I moved most of them to the second floor years ago. I moved upstairs, right? They're safe, I guess. They may be safe, but my house isn't, that's for sure. It wasn't in great shape to begin with. So with this... I sigh, turn away from the window and walk towards the hallway. I'm going to have to take a look at the damage. After all, there's no one else to bear witness to all of this but me. No one to fix it but me. There's a wind in the house. A broken window somewhere? Probably. I get to the stairs and see a little water seep under the door downstairs. Standing on the last step, I open the door, the light switch. I flick it, but no light. The power seems to have gone out. I take the last step down and into the water. The uncomfortable cold water soaks my socks. I want to tiptoe, but the water is too deep for that to matter, so I walk as normally as anyone could in water, indoors. It's not completely dark, for the shadows are deep and heavy. I go into the room on the ocean side. I feel the wind coming in from there. I know this house, this room, but in the dark the room feels alien to me. It's like being in an ocean cave just after the sun has set. Splashing, I walk all the way to the window. It must have been broken by the wave that apparently hit some time while I slept. Ouch, I've stepped on glass and cut a toe on my right foot. I limp to the sofa and sit down. There I pick up my foot to have a look. Take the sock off. It's bleeding a little, but at least there's no glass stuck in the cut. I look around. The flooring is going to be even worse once we manage to get all of the sea out. When we get out, if we get out, and the window. How am I going to pay for a new window? Maybe I can board it up, or get one of the others to do it if they come back, that is. This house is getting too much for me. Maybe I can find something in the cellar to board up the window. I get up and limp to the stairs. I forget the sock on the sofa. When I get to the stairs, I see what I should have realized already, that the cellar is full of water. Still, I walk down the stairs, down into the water, the cold, freezing water, and I have to turn around. I get up the stairs again. I'm not going. There's no way I could get all the way down there and back up again. Shivering, I get far enough up the stairs to be completely out of the water, and I sit down. The pain, the fucking pain. I reach into my pocket for my joint, my hands still wet and trembling. Finally, I manage to put the joint in my mouth, but I realize it's got quite soggy. I find the lighter and I aim some fire at the wet paper. It doesn't light up. I try again, it's the same thing. So I sit there with the soggy paper in my mouth and the lighter in my right hand. I should have gone with them, I know that. That would have been the sane thing to do, but my sanity probably left a long time ago. For a moment I sit there, occasionally glancing into the water. Finally I get up, climb the stairs and limp my way into the living room, where I crumble down on the sofa. The storm is still raging and I'm still tired. The mind races without knowing where to go, and then I get up with a jolt and all of a sudden I see in my head what the last chapter really is. It's just this, and for the moment I'm happy it's done. I can write the ending at last, but I don't want to write it like this. I don't want to be depressing. I don't want any sympathy. I don't want this. As I lay back down on the sofa, I hear the front door open and Ahmed call. "Are you there, Carl?"